study won't be
wasn't
here
sure if
till
it just-
September. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I did take notes while I was there. So I'll start with saying that everything I'm about to say, they said is normal for pools of their age. So it's not anything like too outlandish. But for Mill Pond, at the time, and this is all preliminary, right? They're still doing their investigation and stuff. So at the time, there's about 8 hollow spots that they found at Mill Pond. They're hoping that the core samples that were taken back in 2013 are good and adequate. They show that there was good strength in those, so they're hoping that stays the same. The decking is showing signs that it's most likely not salvageable and it would have to be repairable. It's not up to ADA compliance. The wall sounds like they haven't tested the walls for hollow spots at all, so they still have to do that. And then there was concern with the floor slab because it's inconsistent across the board. Some areas they found 4 inches, the other areas they found 10 inches, so that was concerning for them. As far as Churchill goes, there's a crack traveling across the long length of the whole pool. There was about 15 plus hollow spots that they had found there. There was a big concern with the dive well. Either the concrete is weak or there's nothing there to support it, they had said. They were concerned about cavities underneath that area and the structure of the pool as a whole. The fiberglass coating for some of the piping is failing. So that would have to be replaced. It's not up to code because the pool was built so long ago. So it's just not up to the standards that we have today. And then the pool itself is just on the cusp of what the state allows as far as like the entire of the pool being filtered through the filtration system within. We're grandfathered into an 8-hour period, but now new standard is 6 hours. So we would have to address that. And then they're gonna need to do some boring in that area as well, over by the transfer station side, as well as all over the normal areas they would expect. So overall, if the pools are salvageable, these areas would need to be repaired and painted. It comes down to kind of a cost benefit, they were saying, once they finally get the full picture of what they're looking at. The pools, and then I guess like the general kind of overall summary was like the pools have definitely outlived their life expectancy. And for the most part, the reason why they're still swimmable is due to the maintenance that the Parks and Rec department has been doing to them to keep them up to snuff. And that's just real surface level kind of what we saw today.
We've had some very excellent people taking care of our pools, and I can say that since I was a kid, right?
Yes.
You know, those guys, they're 24/7, you know, they're there up, chlorine's gotta go up, this down, whatever, and you know, they are dedicated men. They're all men. And well-trained and they do their thing very nicely, and we're very lucky we had them. What else did I have on my thing here? Oh, part of that crack that goes the length of Churchill is the expansion joint. So that it's a crack, but it's not really a crack. It's supposed to be there, but they have to check into that. And the core samples, I didn't understand what you were saying there, AJ. I thought they said the core samples in 2013 were good, but they just hope these will be the same.
They're hoping that when they do them again, that it's
they
gonna
don't know.
keep that consistency of having strong results from them.
So it's going to take a bit for them to do their studying and further testing. They didn't finish everything today. So we'll see what happens from there. If you happen to be able to take a ride by Churchill or Mill, take a look in the pool and you can see the areas are marked with neon pink, and you can see the lines and the sections that are going to have to be looked at. It's pretty massive. It's pretty massive. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I just think two things that struck me. One is it's a fairly low tech way to I mean, the guy goes down with a hammer and bangs on the.
Yeah, but it worked,
concrete.
like
I
you
mean,
could
obviously it
could
works,
hear it.
but it seems like a awful low tech.
Yeah,
They roll the chain and they bang on the hammer. So, and it's also preliminary. So
right.
they don't know what's even under those areas they marked until they do more studies. So we're way in the beginning of this process, but I am pleased that we're looking at both pools, because if we had just looked at one pool and fixed one pool and then had Churchill fail, then I would have been kicking myself that we had not looked at Churchill.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're now looking at both pools and not getting an idea what we're facing with both pools, because to me, it looked like there were more pink marks on Churchill than there were on Mill. And
I agree.
I think so. I think if we had just gone down the road and fixed one pool and just ignored the other pool until it failed, that would have been a huge mistake. So now at least we're going to know what the conditions are, and we'll know what we're facing. And I think I was pleased with the explanation of the architect and his team there. I think, even, the guy with the hammer that going around.
It was a demonstration, and it was
I
pretty.
think that was pretty amazing. I remember doing the same with my driveway when I had it,
Yeah.
a sag, and I would go over the hammer and there's a hole there, and I had to have the guy come out and fix it. But it seems like a low tech process, but sometimes that's the best way to work. And so we don't know what's under there until they actually do more exploring. And so
Yeah.
we're way in the beginning stages of this process. So I don't want to get everybody's hopes up. We're moving forward. We're moving forward, but we aren't anywhere near with getting a full explanation of what's under there.
I was pretty shocked about the amount of pink areas at Churchill as well, but then I had to remember it's a lot bigger than Mill, so they should have more, they're same vintage, so it's size. But there was a lot, not so much down at the shallow end, but in the middle section and in the diving area, it was a little scary. It's a lot going on. Okay, so we are not in any shape to talk about approving anybody to do borings, right? They haven't.
Well, that's what they're doing. The
No,
geotechnical.
geotechnical.
Yeah. That's for hopefully next meeting. Yeah.
He's going to recommend that, and
Yeah.
that was my discussion, my understanding of the
Yeah.
discussion.
I mean,
He's going to
one-
recommend some borings.
Yeah.
And
He needed to see, Patrick from Weston Sampson needed to kind of see where you would maybe recommend putting the drilling the wells. And also I think the water level right now is at lowest it can basically possibly be. So it wouldn't be very instructive to do it in the middle of August. So.
Plus, I think the last time we met, we were discussing whether or not to do them at Churchill. But I think that today, after looking at what could possibly be washed out underneath and examining the fact that the transfer station is so high, now that water comes down and instead of being flat or used to be a hole, that can cause some erosion underneath. So that's why his recommendation was to do some borings up at Churchill as well. And given the shape of it, I think you got to check it out and see what happens. So,
I have a question.
yes,
So we're talking about core samples and borings.
Yes.
Are they two different things?
Yes.
Can
one
you
is in the
explain?
pool.
And that's
That's the concrete in the pool.
the core
the-
sample?
No, they're the same thing.
In the ground though,
Yeah, the geotechnical was you dig wells.
right? In the
Yeah, in the
ground.
And
ground
that's a-
to
Not
see
in
what
the
the water.
outside of the pool.
Outside of the
Yeah,
pool.
that's in.
Okay.
in the ground.
And that we don't have, that wasn't part of Weston Sampson's proposal.
But is core samples and boring the same thing?
No, so well,
what
core
happens
sampling and
outside of
boring
the
is the same thing. I mean, you're trying to determine like the structural integrity of the concrete. The
Okay.
geotechnical, that's determining what the water level is surrounding the pool. So if the water level is high, and this is really what they found whatever it was 4 years ago, then you have to put in additional stormwater controls or something.
You manage it.
You manage it somehow, but this would give us a sense of how much you need to manage it.
And are they going to be doing the samples on
The ground.
well, no, not on the concrete around the pool and inside the pool? Like, are they doing it inside the pool on the floor? of the
Yeah.
pool?
Those
Yeah,
are the
you, and
doors.
if you
Walls
go now, you'll
also,
see
and
they
the
look like
decking,
golf, they look like golf
all three
ball holes.
places.
They look like a hole for, at a golf course
I don't
in
think they
various
did it on the
spots.
deck.
Not on the decking,
Not
though.
on
the
The
deck.
decking is the
Just
deck.
in the sides of the pool and on the bottom of the pool. If you take a
Okay.
walk over there and you'll see,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think I'll do
you'll see it.
The decking is really the decking, and that has to get replaced anyway,
Yeah.
because it's all, I mean, over time, it's like your sidewalk in front of your house.
Yeah.
Over time, it all kind of
Right.
Shifts,
goes up
cracks,
and down, and up and
plants go
down,
through.
Yeah.
you know, and grass grows between it. So the decking has to get replaced probably anyway. It's a
Yeah.
done deal.
Yep.
So that has to get replaced, no matter what it is. So that would have to get replaced anyway. So.
Yes, that's just the differences in the pool versus the
Okay,
grass area.
all right, thank you.
I have a question. Is
Yes.
there more water runoff now that it's the transfer station than there was before?
Well, that's,
I thought when they did the if I can speak, I thought when they did the transfer station, they sloped it, so there's a collection and it goes out onto to the wetlands
In the back?
in the back there. So I don't think it all comes towards the park. I think it's kind of collected into the center. and
So
then-
that wouldn't,
So it wouldn't cause a great influx of, all the water would run off
no, but there was some concern that because of it's
Because I
hot.
know it's
you
hot.
know,
it's,
very
it's,
hot.
it's,
They said they're gonna look into it at least, just to make
Yeah.
3
sure.
or 4,
Yeah.
5 feet higher, but it's not like it's a major
It's not causing a
source of
waterfall. Yeah.
water. or
But they want to check it out and just make sure, because we should.
it
you
could be,
know.
it could contribute.
Yeah, that was a hole when it first started, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and people just, and then it kept.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's crazy. Okay, all right. Your turn there, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, it's hard.
What can I say?
Oh, you're young. You're still young.
Bill McCarthy, 206 Churchill Drive. Welcome back, everybody.
Nice to see you.
I was hoping that we would have progressed a little bit further with the Weston study and had some concrete results. It didn't sound as though the clubhouses were addressed at all. They're just looking at the pool so far. But,
They were in there, they were downstairs,
okay. Anyway, just going back to the budget type thing, I think that there was some discussion about dollar amount last year, or the year before, if it was under a certain dollar amount, that we may be able to repair or replace one of these pools or both of these pools under 3 million. That I'm just saying, and I think that would be wonderful. But I think that we do need to bring the bathhouses up to ADA standards, and the pools need to be refurbished. Thanks.
Dana has a comment, Eileen?
go ahead, Dana. Hello.
Hi,
There
Dana
she is.
Havens, 113 Stoddard. I understand that they don't want to do borings now because the water level is so low. But did they give an idea of when this report will be finalized? And can you clarify the difference between core sample and the other samples again? I didn't quite understand. Thanks.
Okay, and is anybody else there?
Is there anybody else, before we have comments from committee members, anybody else? Whether it's Bill or Josh Pasuk or Susan who'd like to make public comment?
Is there somebody on the phone?
No,
No,
doesn't look like it.
okay, okay. Okay. All right, who wants to go first? Go ahead, AJ.
All right, John, check me if I get this wrong. So the boring is when they're digging into the actual pool, testing the concrete in the foundation of the pool itself. And then the geo testing is outside the pool with the soil surrounding the pool, just to see I mean, honestly, I'm not too sure what they're exactly looking for, but
Water,
like that's what they're doing, yeah.
Water.
Yeah, that's correct.
that
That's
sound-
absolutely
does that
correct.
sound
So,
right?
yeah, geotechnical is water, testing the water table around the pool. Obviously, the more water is there is around the higher the water table, the more potential to compromise the structural integrity from the outside in. And the core samples are looking at the health of the existing concrete. I'd also add too, as an aside, it was something that if we have leftover money that Patrick Bates mentioned that we could do that radar testing.
penetrating
That,
radar,
yeah,
yeah.
ground penetrating radar is another way of, I guess, seeing if there's cavities within the ground around it or whatever.
It could be something under there too, yeah.
Yeah, I think he wanted to wait and see what the report came back as, because if it came back, what they saw was bad already, there's no sense spending more good money to say, yeah, it really is bad. If they're pretty, confident that we're good, that's one thing. If they're nah, then you go and you keep, exploring. If they know we're bad already, we don't really need to see 6 feet down more. I don't think, but that's just my opinion. Okay, anything else?
Bill, they definitely will look at the bathhouses soon. They had mentioned that. But yeah, we gotta let them work at their own pace, I guess.
The 15K was from the state.
That's correct, yep.
And is there like an expiration on that? Like,
It has to be spent this fiscal year
so by next June,
correct, yep.
We'll spend it.
2026. Yep. And then there potentially could be another 15.
Then it's a biennial budget, so yeah, we got another 15 for
Okay.
next year too. So I don't know really what we could, that might be a user or loser kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to spend it, but just wanted to know if there's an expiration. And then I guess my question, I know this is all preliminary. When did they say like the final report? They don't know yet.
Let me pull it up.
I mean, is it next meeting?
Yeah, no, they had a time frame in their
Right,
proposal. So let me-
So it might be tight for the next meeting, maybe October
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah,
That's
my
fine, I
feeling would
just-
be if we don't get the report by the September meeting, we should probably just wait until the meeting in October, because
Yep.
there's no sense in meeting if there's nothing new to talk about, I would guess.
Yeah, I know the reason why they started now is because the pools were in use. That's why there was kind of
Yeah.
not a lot of progress, it seems like
Right.
in the last couple of months, but
Yeah.
people were using it, so they couldn't
Right,
go in there.
and they needed,
test it.
it needed to be empty, so.
Right,
And
yep,
they don't normally even empty the pool. It stays full, and it was full for a while. Churchill was full after it stopped, but they drained it so they could get in and do these testings for it, so. We'll see what happens.
Okay, I'm pulling up the report right now. See what the time frame is
we
there.
definitely need the decking done because I was at that pool and my bare feet did not love the decking.
Oh, yeah,
And-
there's like this lip to go into the
Yeah.
wading pool, and these kids that like, I asked somebody, how many kids fall in that every day? Oh, 1 million, she says, because they
Yep.
just trip over the edge and boom, right
I
in.
know a couple that, or one that might have.
Yeah, sure, I'm sure.
So a total project schedule of approximately 10 to 12 weeks from the notice to proceed to delivery of the final report for task 1. So in other words, I'd have to think about when we actually sign the contract with them. I think it was in June, like early June. So yeah, we're probably looking at September. I mean, yeah, it should be a report sometime in September.
Okay, so just, so if we have the report, we'll meet. If we don't have the report, we won't meet, and we'll put it off till October and see what happens.
Yep,
I don't know what else I think that makes sense. Your turn.
I don't really have much more to say other than I'm glad it's underway. And I agree with you 100%. The bathhouses need to be looked at, everything needs to be looked at. They're old. Every aspect of both pools need to be looked at. So I'm also glad both pools are being tested for everything so we can prioritize and figure out the best way to move forward, but nothing more to say at this point.
Okay, Carol.
I just agree with what everybody said. I mean,
Makes
there's
sense.
nothing more to say,
Mhm.
just that I'm glad we're moving forward. I know it's gonna be a work in progress. We just all have to be patient. And, let it, see what the report says and move forward.
Okay.
My ears go last, but yeah, I think
I'll
it's a,
start at this end.
thanks.
I'll go that way.
next time remind that. I think it's a big. It's again, I took a look at both pools, I think was what we're supposed to be doing in the first place. So I think that's the way we're supposed to go. And I think that's what we're expected to do. And I think this will get us a full picture. We may not like the picture, but at least we'll know what we're looking at, and as opposed to just doing one pool and then saying, oh, guess we have another pool. That's just as bad. I think to Ms. McCarthy's question, I think bathhouses are always gonna have to be looked at, because those bathhouses are certainly in sad shape. And needs some renovation, but that's way down the road, because I think more importantly, there's no sense having a great looking bathhouse if the pool's falling apart. So the pool has to get fixed first, and then the deck, and then the bathhouse. But so that's kind of the order I would look at it first, because it doesn't do me any good to have a good pool, but if I can't get to it because I trip on the decking to get to the pool. So
Yeah.
I think those are all the sequence of things we have to look at. So I think we're on the right track. It's just gonna take a little longer than I think we originally thought.
Yep, patience, that's all we have to remember. I think I learned a lot today. I'm glad that I had the chance to go. I thought that they were very helpful in informing us about what was going on and explain things in layman's terms, so that was nice. The foundation that we're working with is a little scary. I think I'm quite interested to see what's gonna happen. Because there's no sense in putting a new pool on a bad foundation. Hopefully we can figure something out. My suggestion to members of the committee, if you have the chance to go take a ride around, look at the splash pads that are around, look at the pools that are around. I would take a ride to that pool in Vernon, and so you can see what a pool liner does. I went to visit, I talked with people who work there, and they didn't like it. They thought it was very slippery and hard on people, like hard on their feet to stand up. They didn't like it at all. But I know that's only one liner, and there's probably a million different kinds. So I think that's all we have for today. Again, reminder that if the report is available, we will meet in the end of September. If it's not, we will push our meeting till October. All good? Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Beautiful.
All right, guys, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Go
See you
team,
tomorrow.
go.
Okay.
You can see the thing in South Windsor. Splash pad. A busload of kids came. And
Oh, yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Something to keep in mind about
That's crazy.
talking about charging people and
Yeah.
residents. We gotta be careful with that.
That's a tough call to make.
Yeah.
I think it could have been done different.